Our video today aims to display the selected examples of Islamic papyri in order to sum up the various topics included in it. Let's start with an example of Islamic papyrus written in Greek language and bearing the seal of Amr ibn al-As. This papyrus dates back to 22 AH, which was the second year of Amr ibn al-As' reign in Egypt. The papyrus is written in Greek language, which means that Amr had to practice Greek to communicate with the Egyptians. The Greek text was written on this papyrus recorded the food which was given by the Egyptian governor of Heracleopolis to the Arab soldiers in charge of the money. We can see in the beginning of the papyrus, in the name of God, which is the opening sentence used by Amr ibn al-As in all texts. The most remarkable thing in this papyrus is the clay seal of Amr, whose Greek name is Ampros. We can see also the seal bears both image, which is not an Arabic representation, but it's an Egyptian influence.
The second example of a papyrus written in Greek. This papyrus also dates back to 22 AH and preserved now in the Austrian National Museum in Vienna. We can see at the beginning of the text the common opening sentence Al-Basmala. The core of the text is written in the name of Abdullah ibn Jubair, who was the commander of the agriculture lands during the reign of Amr ibn al-As. He asked the governor of Heracleopolis to give him number of soldiers, armorers, wheat, oil, and flasks for the army. From this papyrus, we can conclude that the Arabs used to communicate in administration by using receipts written on papyri.
Although the Greek language was the official language in Egypt before the Arabs' conquest, the Coptic language was also common, and both of them remain in usage in the Islamic papyri besides the Arabic language. And here is an example of a papyrus written in Coptic. This papyrus dates back to the Umayyad dynasty, 43 AH, which was the last year of the second ruling estate of Amr ibn al-As' reign. It is displayed in the British Museum in London. The text in this papyrus indicates that the governor of the province swore to Amr to collect the tribute from each young man of 14 years old. According to this statement, we can know that the recruitment age at the time was 14 years old. We can conclude that there was a witness for this message who was a priest named Apatar recorded in this text.
We have Islamic papyri written in Coptic, Greek, bilingual, and also in Arabic. The Arabic language is a powerful language. It prevailed over the Greek and Coptic languages in Egypt in a short time. It appeared since the 1st century and upgraded. One can follow the upgrade of the language through papyri. This papyrus in front of you is written in Arabic language, and it seems to be part of a letter written for receiving the tributes. It dates back to the 1st century, specifically 22 AH. One can notice that the Arabic letters in this papyrus are written without dots, except the letter Nun. The Arabs could read the letters without dots. However, this shows the development and the upgrading of the language, as they started partially using dots. During the second half of the 1st century, dots were placed above letters by Nasr ibn Asim al-Laythi and Yahya ibn Ya'mur al-Adwati.
This papyrus differs from the previous examples as it is a bilingual one. It's written in Greek and Arabic languages. The papyrus dates back to 54 AH. It's impressive to notice that this papyrus is written by two different scribes using two pens and two inks. The Arabic text in this papyrus is translated into Greek, in which the first line contains al-basmala identified with the 9th line, and the second line contains from al-haris identified with the 10th line. However, the translation from Arabic to Greek is not a literal one.
This papyrus written in 19 Hijriya, 700 CE. This papyrus is a letter was sent by Qurra ibn Shurayk to the administrator of Ashkowa. Ashkowa located at Sohag in Timar. Qurra ibn Shurayk sent this papyrus to the administrator of Ashkowa for asking about the rest of jizya, which was imposed on the bishop of Ashkowa by Al-Walid ibn Abdullah ibn Abdullah. In the 10th line, Qurra ibn Shurayk stated, "And collect the first amount and rush it to me." Therefore, some scholars stated that Qurra ibn Shurayk was unfair ruler. However, Sayyida al-Kashif stated that he was fair ruler, whereas she relied on the analysis of other papyri.
The amuletic paper is part of the traditions of our society. People believe that they can use piece of paper contains religious texts to protect themselves as it has a hidden magical power. So it is amazing to find Islamic papyri used as amuletic papers and classified as magical papyri. The magical papyri were used for a religious purpose, asking for protection. They usually contain verses of the Quran, like Al-Tur, Al-Zariyat, Al-Fil, and Ayat Al-Kursi. Prayers, prophet sayings, Al-Ahadith, prophet biography, plan of prophet's mosque, animal figures, protective charms. Not only that, but also Coptic texts from the Bible, prayers, and Greek texts. While we use the papyri as documents, in the magical papyri the content is important, while the date is not important like the other types of papyri. So this papyrus called the Scorpion Papyrus, which is sort of an amuletic paper or letter concerning magic. It dates back to the end of the 2nd and beginning of the 3rd century. This small piece of papyrus contains mainly a figure of a scorpion in the middle and some sayings of the prophet around. According to Adolf Grohmann, the drawing of scorpion aims to protect from the stings of scorpions. However, some scholars from Germania suggested that the drawing of scorpion aims to protect from evil.
Medicine and healing were important topics included in the Islamic papyri. Medical Islamic papyri provided us with several recipes used for healing diseases. Some substances of these recipes differ from century to another. Here is an example of a medical papyrus dates back to the 2nd or the 3rd century. It's displayed in Archduke in Vienna, and another copy is preserved in the National Library in Egypt. The papyrus contains a healing recipe for the stomach pains. Some words are readable in this papyrus, such as al-asal, which mean honey, al-batn, which mean abdomen, while another words have been scratched by the writer.
This papyrus is called law papyrus or legal document, whereas it related with the administration. There is a mass in the writing, whereas Greek numbers are used instead of Arabic numbers. The presence of Greek numbers in the Arabic text means this papyrus came from Alexandria.
The last papyrus in this video is an example of a letter written to Prince al-Nasr. The papyrus dates back to the 6th or 7th century AH, the time of Bahari Mamluk dynasty. The first thing attracts the reader in this papyrus is the calligraphy, as it is written in Solus and Raqqa scripts. Some words could be read easily as Tawakkal ala Allah and Muhammad, who is the writer of this papyrus. Through this papyrus, we know that common people were able to send letters to the ruler. According to the date of this papyrus, it is estimated that the ruler at the time was Nasr Muhammad ibn Qalawun, who was beloved by the Egyptians. According to al-Maqrizi, an interesting story happened during the time of Nasr Muhammad ibn Qalawun, in which a popular Arabic statement was used: هاتولنا الأعرج يجيب الميات الدحرج, as Nasr had a lame leg. The story tells that when Nasr stepped down and left Egypt, the Nile level decreased, so the Egyptians declared their need for a Nasr return. Finally, they succeeded to achieve their goal.